Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's our show, Ukraine, Russia, and China. Of course, we'll spend most of the time talking about Ukrainian situation being invaded by ruthless Russian forces. And we'll talk about this situation from 3 points of view. Number one is the real situation on a war theater. Number two is a perception on social media and what the world thinks about this situation. And number three, the economic situation, which is worsening for Russia every day as we speak. So let's start with the war situation. Ukraine has activated its forces thanks to a new weapons get it from the West, and it's getting very good thanks to the intelligence supplied by U.S. Um, to avoid direct confrontations, yet uh, getting hit a lot of Russian targets. Every day there is a statistics how many weapons, how many tanks, how many artillery units, how many infantry, how many even warships were being hit and destroyed by Ukrainian forces. Russia has a dilemma now what to do next. They promised that they would have something to celebrate by their Victory Day, which is May 9th. And there are, 10 days left to that. And right now they had very little progress. And on the Donetsk region, and Ukrainian forces are just being very clever at distracting Russian forces. They are very skillful at actually getting ambushes and killing the enemies. And Russia so far could make very little progress in this eastern region of Ukraine. So there is also no peace negotiations anymore, simply because they're not even so far apart. Nobody wants peace anymore. Maybe Putin wants, because the alternative to lose this war is horrible to him. So maybe some kind of a peace that he can sell to his people as a victory, that probably makes sense. Now, Ukraine's position is very simple. Get all Russian forces out of Ukraine. Just get them out once and for all. That will be the only acceptable solution for Ukraine. So they're so far apart that you can still kind of pretend that you have peace negotiations here and there, but it's, frankly speaking, it's most likely a waste of time. If I'm wrong, I will be just happy about that. So that's just fine by me. So now the perception in the world, Ukrainians are doing a very capable job of explaining their situation to the world, having very strong allies in web. Um, and what Russians are doing, they hardly can match the Ukrainian and other forces in the net, and they're losing this war miserably. Finally, the economic situation. Economic situation, frankly, is just getting scarier and scarier for Russia, really. It's sanctions. New sanctions are coming almost every day. and there is no end to it. It's estimated that people, if they don't feel it yet inside Russia, what's happening on, it will definitely be felt in about a few weeks from now. So that's where the danger is. And this is why there is a great exodus from Russia of highly skilled professionals, by the way, to Ukraine, among other things. Other people are leaving for good and just go to either Europe or United States, but there are a lot of, especially I've heard the story um, from Mr. Volobuyev, who had incredible high position in the Russian Gazprom Bank, which is a bank obviously affiliated with Gazprom. He had extremely high position there. He was born in Ukraine. In the early 90s, he moved to Moscow to pursue education career, and he's done fantastic career in Gazprom Bank. And one day after the war started on February 24th, guess what? Left. He left everything in Moscow and just moved to Kyiv, to Ukraine. He's in his early 50s. And his message was, he left basically all there. He said that Ukraine is my motherland, and I want to fight and help my motherland any way I can. Once the war is over, the country would have to be rebuilt. I want to participate in that as well. So I'm ready to take any position, even if I would have to carry the mail or just do anything to help my country. I'm there, ready to do it. It's a quite powerful interview. So now, as we know, there are people who are helping Ukraine to fight, actually fight, from 50 to 52 countries. And we are talking about more than 20,000 people. And they're not just people who happen to look for adventure or so on. There are people who have a great many years experience of fighting in hot spots around the world. So one such well-equipped soldier is worth 10 Russian conscripts. And Putin he's waiting now for possibly to have mobilization, because his army is depleted. They have a heavy human losses, but some estimates 15,000 for sure, and most likely over 20,000 people. Remember that in 10 years of war in Afghanistan, they lost altogether less people, I think 10,000 people. In 10 years, here's 20,000 in 2 months. Well, that's quite a number. So the more people in Russia will find out that their sons, husbands, relatives are being killed, the more this war will become extremely unpopular, really. And there is no way how Putin can handle that for a really long period of time. So if he had a strength to hit Ukraine with all his might right now, in the next couple of days, and have a decisive victory, he would have done it. Why wouldn't he? So maybe, just maybe he has no resources necessary to do just that. Oh, wait a second. But if he doesn't have resources, then what he can do? Just to do a psychological warfare, to tell all the world that we have some incredible weapons and we're going to hit you with incredible bombs and missiles and all that. Well, when you said it once, you said it twice, but when you said that every hour and a half, people are getting sick and tired of it. Come on, just do it if you can. But guess what? Americans informed him that they have a tactical nuclear weapon that is set on a precise rocket or missile that can hit right into the bunker and explode right there inside the bunker. And they know where that bunker is and who is in the bunker, I guess. Uh, I think Putin and his people became a little bit quieter after that revelation. What if it's true? Uh, it seems to me that Putin, with all his hate and determination, he loves life. He wants to continue to live. He wants to enjoy life as much as he can. But I don't think he has a lot of left, really, because his own people, when they will be aware of what's really happening, I'll tell you what's really happening. Come on. There were well over $3 million went through the Russian Federation as revenue for oil, gas, and other resources. Right now, Russia has $600 billion sitting in reserves, half of which have been arrested by United States, and there are already proceedings started to confiscate that money for good and divert it to help to Ukraine. Okay. So where's the remaining $2.5 trillion? A good question. Was the Russians started to live much better in this last 20 years? Not really. All these poor soldiers, look at in Bucha and other places, they were robbing every apartment, every place. They were taking out the toilet seats because they never seen a toilet set in their villages, wherever they're from. So $2.5 trillion. It's a lot of money. Jeez. Even for Elon Musk, actually, it's a lot of money. He doesn't have that money. And Russia doesn't have that money. So what's happened with this money, really? Well, let's count. Let's count all these oligarchs, palaces, yachts, properties. That's quite a lot of money already. So, in a way, all this wealth of $2.5 trillion were taken out by Putin as his friends. So, this is what's going to be exposed very soon. And then I'm not so sure how much people in Russia will tolerate that. I think $2.5 trillion. Even for Biden, it's a lot of money for anybody. I guess not for Putin and his oligarchs. Maybe they need more money. So let's continue to buy Russian oil, gas, metals, whatever else they're selling, right? No, it's not right. Because this money are going into killing Ukrainians. Children, women, absolutely to put incredible weight. I don't know how much money. I don't want even translated into money, but a huge damage is being done. Huge damage is being done to all Ukraine. It will take years, if not dozens of years, to repair it all. But all world will help Ukraine, and nobody will help Russia in its misery that it's coming. No, it's not. Remember, I do remember very well the early 90s when Soviet Union fell apart. And West, United States, helped a great deal Russia to get on its feet. Instead of going and demand to destroy all its nuclear arsenal once and for all, one telephone call from George Bush Sr. to Yeltsin would solve that, because Russia was not in a position to resist that whatsoever. I read the book by Yegor Gaidar, The Fall of Empire. And he was saying how it was early 1992. There was no food in Moscow, St. Petersburg. And yet there was a ship with 25,000 tons of grain in Rotterdam, ready to leave for St. Petersburg, fully paid for. The only thing what had to be paid was $10,000 to port charges and dock workers. That's all, $10,000. There was a complete session of government of Russia, including Yeltsin, Gaidar himself, and 8 or 9 more people, all prominent Russian politicians. There was only one question on the agenda: how to find $10,000. That's what the state of Russia was in early 1992. So if George Bush Sr., if he would call his friend Yeltsin and say, look, we understand your situation. We will help you. We will give you $10 billion. But you have to deliver all your nuclear arsenal. Guess what? If it would have been proceed, it would be the greatest deal of the century. Now, if not, then you would know that Russia is into something, that they don't want to really to deliver their nuclear arsenal in such a dire situation where they are now. So you would know that they are thinking that sometimes in the future we will get stronger, and then we will deal with our friend capitalists. So would you continue still to help Russia in this situation? Probably not. You're not stupid. Then that would solve this problem that all the world has to deal with now than 30 years ago. But it wasn't done. George Bush Sr., he was a faithful vice president in Ronald Reagan administration. So he could learn a thing or two from Ronald Reagan, because he essentially created the conditions which led to the fall of the Soviet Union. So just finish the job. There's no more Soviet Union, but there is a Russia with its nuclear arsenal, which it cannot use at the time because it was so weak, so miserable. So just use it. You're a politician. You're president of the country. What's wrong with you? Well, I don't want to go around that question because it's doesn't lead anywhere. And unfortunately, he is in better world right now, as we speak. But still, because today We live in a constant threat of the nuclear war. Really, forget about all this Ukrainian war or so on. No, we are looking now most likely into nuclear war. Let's face it. Don't hide. It's there. And you know why? Because Russia cannot sustain a loss of a little Ukrainian war. It can't. Maybe Russia actually could, but Putin can't. He will be thrown apart by his own generals. He cannot lose this war. So if alternative is A, lose the war, B, start nuclear war, it's obviously B, nuclear war. It is. Let's face it. Let's stop hide. So if that's the case, then West has, as much as it's well armed, well prepared, but you see, West is not playing games similar to what Putin does. West is not exercising psychological warfare as Putin does. So it would be very interesting to see in next few weeks how this situation will develop. Let's hope for the best case scenario. Really, I don't think that we would like to see the nuclear war option. I don't, nor you. I hope that in next few days, by the time of our next program on Tuesday, there will be very significant developments, and I expect them to be very positive for Ukraine. The more arms, weapons are coming from the West, it's no longer weapons to help Ukraine to withstand Russian attack. No, 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 no. Nobody is interested. West is no longer interested just to protect Ukraine. No. Right now, West is interested to prevail and take out all the Putin army away from Ukraine, and hopefully that would lead to a resolution of dilemma what to do with Putin. Most likely Russian people find out, will find out very soon, and will actually decide his fate. Thank you very much. It was our today's program, and I'm looking forward to see you with the good news on Tuesday. Bye bye.